Hey everyone, and welcome back to Elden Ring. Here we are in Limgrave. We've just finished beating the Knight Cavalry, and in the last episode we also took, well, we didn't take out, but we fought against the Crucible Knight a couple of times. We fought against the Tree Sentinel a few times and lost quite badly. And we also tried fighting... What else did we fight? Was it the Deathbird? I think we fought the Deathbird in the episode before that. But we do want to try and do one more boss, one more field boss. We're going to go against the dragon now. But I do want to enter the arena or the lake where we fight the dragon from over here. It's just a much better view coming into the fight. You'll see why once we get there. So we can ride there, or we can just go ahead and fast travel, but we're going to go to the seaside ruins and then we'll come up and fight against the dragon. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll probably just do one, maybe two attempts right now. I have a feeling it's not going to go really well just because we're not quite as strong or powered up with our weapons as we could be. So let's just try it a couple of times. There's some dialogue that we'll get from at least attempting, and then we'll just kind of go from there. There's a lot of other things that we can do to get our character stronger, and that's what we're going to attempt. So let's make sure... Well, it's nighttime coming into morning, so I think that we'll be okay. So we do want to come from this direction and then kind of cut over. So we've got this fallen ruin here. We can go up and over it, or we can just kind of ride straight over. But let's take a look over here and see what happens as we approach the bonfire. There it is. The Flying Dragon Agheel. This fight is no joke. So be prepared. Magic works pretty well. His weak spot is his head. You want to use this fight to kind of learn when to use Torrent and when to not use Torrent. You can stay on Torrent and keep riding and try doing your dodges and jumping and stuff that way, but I personally find it much easier to fight against him or her on foot, just because I very much find Torrent to be awkward as heck. But when he flies up and starts shooting fire, being on Torrent really helps you die. So this is probably not the best place to fight Agheel. Out in the water in the open area is much better, because you can see the attacks that are coming in the flame that he throws. So anytime, or once you have actually summoned him in, he will be on the ground, so he's not going to fly in every time. So Agheel will always be over there now waiting for us. So, something interesting that you can do once you die one time to Agheel, we can come back over here and talk to Yura. So if you remember, he is a, what is he? A phantom, not a phantom, bloody finger hunter. And he also warned us that there was a dragon over here. So now that we've tried our luck against the dragon, let's see what Yura has to say. Okay.
You bloody half-wit. Picking a fight with a dragon? Well, I can tell you want to see it through. Seems I'm forever crossing paths with hotheads like you. I can tell you want to see it through. Fools will be fools. Fight all the dragons you like. I can tell you want to see it through. Fools will be fools.
think that we couldn't get on Torrent because he might have still been talking. So yeah, he's obviously calling us an idiot, a fool for picking a fight with a dragon, but he can tell that we are persistent and that we want to keep doing this and we want to get rid of this dragon. So now that we've talked to him, if we come back over here to where the Stake of America is, yeah, you can see right here there's another summon sign. So if we wanted to, we can summon Euro to help us against the dragon. But first things first, let's come over here, pick up our runes. I don't know how many we had, 3,000. It's a significant amount. I probably should not risk it too much. Alright, well, we've caught his attention. So let's go ahead and summon Yura. Once you push the button on your control, that was a hefty attack. Once you push the button on your controller, oh, we're gonna die. Oh my god, that was close. When he does this attack straight at you, just run to the side and you'll be able to get out of the way of the fire. I'm not, oh. Wow, wrong enemy, buddy. I have no idea what I was saying. When he's on the ground and he shoots the fire at you, it's just going to be kind of a straight line. And if you're running to the side, that was a horrible fight, and you're running to the side, you can use that to get a little bit closer to him. But also something very important to remember, if you summon Yura, or if you're playing cooperative multiplayer, meaning that you have friends helping you, you cannot ride Torrent. So you will have to do this entire fight on foot. Personally, like I said before, I like that better. I have a much easier time fighting on foot against the dragons. This is actually a decent time to come in and we can get like a jumping hit. And the bloody slash, that did pretty well. He can also do tail swipes at you. So I'll try to go through some of the attacks that he has. They are somewhat predictable once you see what he's doing. But it's not always easy to know when he's going to do what attack specifically. So if you're in close, he will a lot of times just stomp at you and swing his wings at you. This one, 1, 2, 3, dodge forward. So he'll always do like 3 beats of his wings, and then rush down at you. So the fire ones are the hardest. So this one, you can, like I said, just run off to the side and you should be fine. So I want to try and get on Torrent and see if we can pull him further away from the rocks. Sometimes he'll scale the walls, sometimes he'll get stuck up at the top. If that does happen, it's sometimes very difficult to fight him and he gets stuck up there. So this one, if you run in the way that he's fanning it and kind of angle yourself towards him, if you start close enough, you can get closer in and actually hit his head. But I'm not having, whoa, that was all underwater. I'm not having very good luck with his positioning. But yeah, like I said, just run to the side. If you have Torrent and you can use him to get a lot closer. Oh, nice. Oh, that's terrible. Don't stand up. Oh, yeah, there we go. If you get enough hits on his head, you can, it is possible to stagger him and get the critical, like the glowing spot on his eye and do a critical hit against him. So this is not going terribly, but it's not going well. I'll just put it that way. His positioning on that wall is awful. Not sure if I can get up there to hit him. I'll just keep using magic, and maybe I can get up there with Torrent. There we go. Perfect. This is where I want him. Oh, I thought I managed to get a critical. Not quite. Oh, now he's back up there? Dang it. Alright, well, we're not going to give up until we die. Or he dies. Or she dies. Whatever it is. And something to keep in mind, too. When you are hopping onto Torrent, you have what are called iframes, or invincibility frames. So if you time it perfectly to where you hop onto Torrent, as he's attacking with the flames, you can use that kind of as a, like a pseudo type dodge. Oh, this is not good. Yeah. I say that was good to get his positioning in a different spot, but not so good for dying. I feel like I did okay that time. I'm gonna try once more, and then we'll move forward and do some story stuff and get ready for the next episode, where I will be able to strengthen the weapons and character quite a bit. So let us make sure that we go pick up our runes, since we had 3,000 of them. And he didn't spot us. So there is a crab down here. And there's some Trina's lilies, so... Oh, that was terrible. What in the world is going on with this? Enemy's getting stuck up on the rocks. Alright, once more and he's dead. There we go. So a charged glintstone stars did fairly well. And we'll pick up these exceedingly rare Trina's lilies. Some crab legs. Or crab eggs, jeez. I can talk. So I haven't been using very much magic. So I think I'm just going to go two-handed with the twin blade and see if we can get some quick bleed build up. I do really want to try and get a critical hit on him by hitting his head. Alright, that was pretty good, and no, dude, get over here. And you can also use your ashes in this one. So if I wanted to, I could summon in my skeletal militiamen. But I don't think that they are that useful. Okay, so run around kind of to the side. Oh my lord, I jumped off too early and got a hit by that. Yeah, this one is not going quite as well. This will definitely be my last attempt, whether I succeed or not. And you cannot jump over the flames, apparently. Alright, well, I'm doing really good at teaching you what not to do. So that's an example there. I tried resummoning Torrent and died very quickly. But because he died, I would have to use another one of my flask. So we didn't want to do that. I thought I'd be able to survive a little longer, but oh well. So that is the dragon Agheel. I think another big part of our problem, my problem, is that I do not have decent enough armor. So that is definitely something that we want to consider getting. So let's, oh, that's horrible. I'm going to put a marker here. We are going to stay on Torrent because I'm dumb. We are going to quickly get our runes back. I can find them. Where did they go? Should be right over the other car. Alright, so we picked those up. He's over there. We can just keep running this way outside of his lake battle arena. Once we get far enough away, we'll be able to either fast travel, or if we make it all the way to the site of grace, then we can fast travel. And I will show you what we're going to do next. Use up the rest of the episode doing that and prepare ourselves for the next one. So let's do this real quick. Let's see if we have enough for a level up, which I doubt we do. We're only off by 209. Okay, so we're off by 209. Let's go ahead and just use... We can just use 2 of these, or 1 of these. So we only need 209. We'll just use 1 of the 400s. And we'll go back in here, we'll level up, that way if we end up dying again to anything, we will be able to, we won't lose any runes. So let's go ahead and level up. Okay, so I know the last leveling up that I had talked about was Arcane and Faith, so let's just go ahead and stick with that. So the next 3 levels will go into Faith, and then we'll probably just keep going with Vigor, Mind, and Endurance, so this will give us more health, more FP for casting spells, and a little bit more stamina. Eventually, probably after 3 or 4 more levels into Endurance, we'll start putting a lot more into Intelligence. Strength and Dexterity, probably not as much until we find a weapon that we definitely want to use and need to get to those requirements. So that's the plan for that. Next, we are going to fast travel from the map. We will go over to the Third Church of America, where we picked up the Flask of Wondrous Physic, and also where that not fast travel, but the travel portal that D showed us. We're going to go ahead and go through that. And we're going to meet an NPC. We're going to do some platforming and get a couple more things that'll help us out. So let's go ahead and go through what I think it's called Ascending Gate. So travel to another location. Yes. Here we go. Alright, and here we are in Grail's Dragon Barrow, right in front of a building. So if we turn around, you'll see that there's a massive enemy right here. From what I can tell and have gathered playing the game as much as I have, this enemy will not become aggressive or attack you until or unless you attack it. It is extremely powerful. I would highly recommend not fighting against it. So just be aware that it's there. Don't freak out, and you can run past it if you need to. So let's go ahead and enter the building here, and we will collect the Site of Grace. But before I do that, I want to open the map and show you where we are. We're in the Bestial Sanctum. So on the map, we zoom out. We have teleported from over here all the way up here to the Bestial Sanctum, which is in northeast Caelid. So we've already heard the name of this area here. So let's go ahead and do a couple things in here. First of all, we want to, let's go ahead and touch the grace, just so we have it. So now when we leave, we can get back here easily. We're not going to rest quite yet. Let's go ahead and talk to this person over here, and you can notice that you are able to summon in here, which obviously indicates that you can fight against him. However, again, I highly recommend not doing that. So this is an NPC that we can talk to. So we can either hand over Deathroot, or we can switch action and talk to him. So let's go ahead and talk first. So he didn't have anything to say. So we've collected 2 Deathroot so far. Let's go ahead and hand those in to him.
I smell it. Death. Feed it me. Tarnished. Bring more deaths. I shall grant thee eye and claw. Feed me more.
He's giving us some items here. We've got Bestial Sling, a Clawmark Seal, and the Beast Eye. Let's talk to him again before we look at those items.
I shall grant thee eye and claw. Feed me more.
Okay, so not much else to say. So we fed him the Deathroot, and he wants more, so as we give him more throughout the game, he is going to continue rewarding us for that. So let's take a look at the 3 things that we got. So one of them is the Beast Eye, which is said to tremble when close to Deathroot. Claw marked stone eye received from Gurranq, beast clergyman. It is said to tremble when near Deathroot. The murky violet iris writhes as if alive. I am not sated. Feed me more. Death. So this one you don't have to equip. It's just in your inventory, and you'll get a notification on screen if you're in an area or a dungeon that has Deathroot in it. We also got a sacred seal called the Clawmark seal. This is what you use to cast incantations. So the spells that I've been using are sorceries. This is the more golden colored ones, the incantations. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. You can see the passive effect is that it boosts bestial incantations. So bestial spells will be doing more damage or helping you more. So this is a sacred seal granted by Gurranq, the beast clergyman, a rare trinket which allows incantations to be scaled with strength. Interesting, I didn't know that. The claw mark represents Gurranq's wrath, enhances bestial incantations learned from Gurranq. And this one does not have a skill attached to it. But you can see you have to have 10 faith to use it, which is part of the reason I want to get faith up to 10. Because there are a lot of useful incantations, and we want to have the ability to use some of them. So, but this one also scales with strength. I've never really paid attention to that. It's kind of cool. All right, and then we also got Bestial Sling, which swiftly flings numerous sharp rock shards. So again, 10 faith is what's the minimum to be able to use this spell. Incantation taught by Gurranq, the beast clergyman, swiftly flings a number of sharp rock shards. This incantation can be cast without delay after performing another action. It is said that in the time before the Erd Tree, stones were the first weapons of the beasts who had gained intelligence. So this one's actually a pretty useful spell. Kind of like the throwing daggers where I mentioned, like, if you just need to do a quick little bit of damage, that one can definitely do it. And like you can just swing and then cast super quickly, and it comes out very fast. So I don't want to rest quite yet. If we happen to die, then we'll still respawn back here. But there's a couple of other items that I want to go ahead and get before we end this episode. So if you come out here past that big giant boss thing off to the right, there are a few items over here, like crafting items. I don't think we'll be able to use these anytime soon, but this one is a faded Erd leaf flower. What is hitting me? What the heck? Alright, so that is, I think he's called like some kind of militiaman. Yeah, you can tell we're in a much higher level area. He killed me that quickly. I think I ran too far out into this field that way. It's like towards the south. So we'll try to stick back here a little bit. And if yeah, I might have caught his attention there. That's probably what happened when I rode down there in the first place. But let's pick up these faded earthly flowers, make sure no one's over there. Inventory, so material used for crafting, blooms in rotten lands. An earthly flower that has faded to a pale scarlet, found blooming in rotten lands, said to be fed by leaves that fell from the Erd tree in days of antiquity. Alright, so now we're going to do some fairly difficult platforming over here, mostly falling. There's a few items down here that are pretty good. So I don't necessarily like using Torrent for this. It's kind of hard to aim, but you just want to find this little tree root that's coming out. So if you're facing exactly west, you should be able to find it. So drop there. And then we want to drop down onto the next one, and I find it easiest to do it by turning the camera and then just walking down this way. That's the easiest way for me personally to line it up. And then we can fall down here. And now we can get on Torrent. The rest of the way down with Torrent is much easier. I don't think there's anything on this first level. There is not. The second level down, there are some things. Some of the drops you may end up seeing Torrent take a little bit of damage just because of how far you're falling. Oh my god, I did not realize there was one of those so close. One hit, he killed me. However, if you can get them from a distance using your spells, you can do a decent amount of farming for some runes right now if you want to level up.
Forgive me. I've been testing you to determine if the Elden Ring would truly have you, if you had the mettle to endure this long and arduous path. It seems my worries were unfounded. Torrent had your measure from the very start, whereas I merely pretended. There is but one other thing I can do to offer you guidance. I can take you to the Round Table Hold, gathering place of tarnished champions, guided by grace.
Okay, so I did not want this conversation to happen yet. I was hoping to go pick up the items and things. So she's offering to take us to the round table hold, which we do want to do eventually, but right now I want to try and pick up some more items. So I made the mistake of resting at the site of grace rather than just going back and getting my stuff. I wanted to switch out and check my spells, but anyway, from here, if you press B or the circle on a PlayStation controller, you'll exit, which is basically your way of telling her no. Anytime now that you rest at a site of grace, you'll have the option to go to the Round Table Hold. So the way that you trigger this conversation is there's a certain boss in Stormvale Castle, like the intro boss going into the castle. If you fight him and die, you get this conversation or a similar conversation, but an invitation to the Round Table Hold. Or if when you rest at the first site of grace outside of Limgrave, then you also get this. So by coming here to Caelid and resting, we now have this option. So we are going to do it, but I didn't want to do it quite yet because I wanted to equip Glintstone Pebble. So we'll come back and talk to her. It doesn't harm anything or ruin anything by telling her no or by exiting out of that conversation. So let's come back over here and see if we can do better. You can pick these up every time if you want to or not. Whatever you want to do. Hopefully you don't die as often as me, but like I said, gravity is probably one of the biggest killers in this game. Obviously, there's lots of extremely difficult bosses and areas, but gravity's kind of a bitch, so got to watch out for it. Alright, so I'm not going to drop down where I did before, because I have no idea where that bat came from. Probably underneath right there, so we'll come down this way a little bit further. Try to do that a little bit more carefully. But if you can spot the bats from further away and get them with your magic or with some kind of a ranged projectile, you can get some really decent runes. So you can see I just took 700 damage on Torrent. And I forgot to go over there and get my runes. Damn it. Alright, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Because I don't think I lost too many. But alright, so you don't want to hit the ground. You want to try and aim towards the wall, I think. Oh boy. Alright, let's see if we can take one of them down. It's going to take a few hits, which is why I said do it from a distance. But we will get 887 runes from that. So, yes, it costs some magic. Yes, it is dangerous because of how strong they are in this area, but potentially worth it. So we just got some soft cotton. I want to be extremely cautious and make sure that we don't get knocked off. Soft cotton reduces fall damage and sound of footsteps. I feel like I've read this one before. A soft but sturdy cotton formed by splitting open row of fruit in a particular manner. Maybe I didn't. Attaching this cotton to the bottom of one's feet allows for a temporary reduction in fall damage and sound. It also reduces the sound of one's footsteps. If you must court danger, at the very least, tread lightly. So if you're... Oh my god. That was so lucky. So if you're playing with a lot of stealth and sneaking around, then soft cotton could do really well for you. Or if you're doing a lot of platforming and falling like I have been, soft cotton could also do very well for you. So let's pick this up. We just got the Dragon Crest Shield Talisman. This one is really good. So that one is going to boost physical damage negation. God, I thought there was something in the background, but it was actually just my feather on my cap. So Wrought Iron Talisman depicting an ancient dragon. I think this is the same description as the other ones, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So just boost physical damage, which is really, really good for this part of the game. Or for the early game is what I meant by this part. So let's come over this way. Make sure there's no other bats. I think there's just some ruin fragments. But there is one more item that we are going to go get. So ruin fragment and sanctuary stone. Let's go ahead and take another drink of that so we have FP. I did see that there was another bat here. Might as well go ahead and get another 887. And you can kind of stun lock them on the ground like that with the spell. Alright, so 1774, that's good. And this is the other item here that we want to get. This is going to be the Cinquedia, I think is how it's pronounced. This one is going to be a dagger. Doesn't have any passive effects. We have enough attributes to use it. This one is a short sword. Interesting, it says a dagger, but it says it's a short sword. A short sword given to high-ranking clergymen of Farum Azula raises potency of bestial incantations. The design celebrates a beast's 5 fingers, symbolic of the intelligence once granted upon their kind. That's really cool. That picture is so awesome. Skill, quick step. I know I've read that one. Skill prized by the crafty and fleet of foot. So this is actually a really cool looking weapon. I've never really used it before, but that's the Erd Steel Dagger. I want this one. Yeah, that is really neat. So it's going to do a very small amount of damage, but you can do a lot of attacks very quickly. Those are the heavy attacks. Jumping heavy, charged heavy. And then quick step is that, which doesn't seem very useful, but I think if you are locked onto an enemy, you'll actually do that quick step move and end up behind them. Like, you'll kind of scoot around them. I don't think that there are any other items down here. That's all I have noted. But I still want to pick up my runes. However, I can't open my map because I'm apparently in combat with something. What am I in combat with? So the only way to get back up from here is to fast travel. Or to just jump off and die, which is basically a different and very interesting method of fast traveling. Okay, I honestly don't know what I am in combat with right now, but let's see if I can lock onto anything. The only thing down here are those bats. Nothing over here. I wonder if it's because I somehow caught the attention of the ones up top, but I don't know why they would still be considered aggressive towards me because they're so far up. Oh well, I mean, if I have to die and lose 1774 plus whatever is up at the top, so be it. We're gonna end up getting so many runes throughout the game, so. Alright, well, I'm just gonna jump and then I'll probably cut out the travel and the jump and all of that, so I will see you at the site of grace. Alright, so we're back at the site of grace. That was embarrassing and kind of dumb, but whatever. Like I said, we're gonna end up getting so many runes throughout the game that losing that much is not a big deal. Later in the game, there's gonna be points in time where we have 100,000, 200,000, close to 1 million. That hurts when you lose those, but for now, it's not too bad. So again, be careful of riding around out here too much because there are those little militiamen, and they are extremely dangerous. So what I like to do from here is just get onto the path and just run. And apparently he does get aggressive if he sees you. So run down here, pick up another golden seed, keep running down the path, just keep running. Just keep running, just keep running. You can see there's another site of grace there. And there's a dragon there, so yeah, this is definitely a high level area, but we're getting some good stuff here, so. And since I have 0 runes, I'm actually interested in seeing if I can defeat one of those militiamen using magic from far away. They have some really wicked attacks with their swords, and like they can do these like claw scrapes across the ground. Wow, 1094. I don't think it's really worth farming these enemies just because of how long it takes to actually defeat them and my pretty much using all of the FP that I have. So anyway, I think that this is probably a good amount of time that we've spent in this episode. I'm not worried about the runes. If you are, then you can go get them. If you lost them down there and forgot, like me, I don't know why I fast traveled back here, but this is where we'll start next time. What we're planning on doing is coming down back to the area here in Limgrave. Actually, no, we do need to go to the round table hold first. There's some conversations that we can have, but I was thinking we could do it now, but we do need to go to the round table hold first. So the next episode, we're going to spend the entire time looking around the round table hold, talking to the people that are there. It's really, really cool. And it's going to be a place that we do spend a lot of time traveling back and forth to and from. So for now, I want to say thank you very much for joining me and Gurranq. This was a pretty fun episode. I don't feel like it was super productive, but that's okay. You're going to have play sessions like that where you don't feel like you got anything done. So it's perfectly fine. We're doing good. We're having a good time here. And I appreciate you watching. I will see you next time.